We're the Unproducers. This is Beefeater Gin. We're talking Vampire, The Masquerade, Bloodlines. And this time, it's gin time.
Come on, let's go to the street. Looking for a traveling lift. I don't give a fuck, never mind. We're ready to start, yeah. It's fucking whiskey time.
This fucker. Maybe. Palms are sweaty. Knees weak. There we go. Knees weak. Knees weak.
Bro, not the hard. Let me see it.
There.
Weak. You know, I think my favorite thing about drinking gin is it feels like you're sucking a Christmas tree's dick. You know what I mean? Drinking Pine Sol. Fantastic.
It's fucking cake!
That's why Edna Mode doesn't want capes, bro.
She was right all along. Let me get a hit off this.
I like that. I've never had Beefeater before, but I really like that. It's got the good juniper-y taste I like. It's better than that Seagram's you had that one time.
Yeah, that wasn't very good.
Yeah, that was trash. And I have a bottle of Primrose at home. That's pretty good. Not as like much juniper in it, but I like it.
Well, you know what I prefer to all of those?
Playing Vampire the Masquerade.
I was gonna say drinking blood, but you had to ruin it. You fucking goddamn son of a bitch. So, I'm curious because
Yes.
I'm trying to think of where I was always looking for like the next sort of Fallout type game to play after I played Fallout 3 in New Vegas.
Right.
And it's a first-person Western RPG made by Troika, who has a lot of people who went on to be involved with Obsidian. So naturally, I found out about the game, and I played it back. I think when I was in high school. But when did you hear about it really before I kind of told you about it very much?
Yes. Because, and this is a little weird.
I know. I think I know where this is going, but I don't think you've told this to me. But go ahead. I just have an idea.
I was and still kind of am a big fan of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged series.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy who makes that had a side series of one of the characters from the game, from Yu-Gi-Oh! Playing Vampire the Masquerade, and that's kind of how I was exposed to this game first. What did you think I was going to say?
I thought you were going to say you saw, like, Jeanette. It's like, who's this Harley Quinn bitch?
Oh, no. No. But even seeing that, I would have been like, okay, I don't even care what this is. But if I would have saw, like, Damsel, I'd have been, I think I need to play this game.
Who's this communist vampire hoe?
My favorite kind of vampire.
So.
A communist one. So this game has social commentary. You got communist vampires, capitalist vampires.
Let me put it this way. I have an attachment to, I really like modern semi-fantasy type of RPGs. Like, I like the Mother games. Those are set in the modern day. And I like Vampire. But the problem is, a lot of the time, this modern supernatural stuff, like teen fiction, is all dog shit. You know, I don't know if I've talked before in our older videos, but not on this show. Buffy's my favorite TV show. And that obviously has aspects of that. And I like, in premise, I like it a lot. It's just, a lot of the time, it's so, like, tropey and cliche-ridden and shittily done that it's got, like, a bad reputation.
Right.
But I like the modern...
Like Teen Wolf.
That's not even close to the worst example, but sure, yes.
Oh.
I mean, yes, but you could like hit Twilight, that'd be a good one.
Yeah. Well, of course you like this game. It is essentially the same kind of setting as Buffy.
Yeah, well, it's more to be fair. It's just more well thought out. Like in terms of that's the main thing about the vampire setting, which is originally a tabletop, which we have not played yet. But when we do, it's going to be a thing on the channel. I'm sure in some variety.
That'll be fun.
We'll talk about it or something.
That'll be fun
because yes, I think it would be a good time.
I want to make our character again.
That would be fantastic. Anarchia.
Yes, we made a Bruja vampire, a girl, and we called her Anarchia. We tried to play a hardcore lesbian, but they don't let you fuck anybody in the game.
Unfortunately.
Right.
So, with the setting and just like the different factions and the history and the politics of how the factions interact and all these different clans have different opinions and such shit of each other.
Right.
You got to give credit where credit's due. I adore.
Right.
I don't want to overly compare stuff necessarily, but I super love Buffy, but it's not as a setting. Vampire is far and away not only I don't think even the best like vampire thing, the best like of the modern supernatural type of genre. Period. I think it's head and shoulders above anything else I can even think of. So.
Right. I think one of the cool things about this game for me is just like how you can take the different factions and just kind of apply real world like political like dogma to them. Like, the Camarilla, they're just like capitalist like
there's not even overly to a certain extent, but it what I like about it is that it's far enough removed that those apply, but you can also look at them with different interpretations.
Well, right, but they're more of like they're like a controlled capitalist country. The Camarilla's like the U.S., where they kind of let you do whatever you want, but you still got to follow the rules and regulations, or else
unless you know the right people, or you know,
or you're like super old and powerful, then you kind of do whatever you get to do whatever you want. But if you're like the low level guy, and you accidentally make another vampire, off with your head, bro. You broke the rules.
Yeah. And,
the Camarilla kind of just intervenes in places where they shouldn't be. Because they're just like, we're the vampire government, so you're going to follow my rules or you're going to die.
Sorry, go ahead.
Oh. And then you've got, like, the Anarchs, who are your ANCAPs, who are just like, yo, leave me alone. Don't violate my NAP. I won't violate yours. Leave me alone. We'll hang out at the bar. It's cool. And then you got the Sabbat, who are just the Sabbat.
They're just like we're meanies, and I think, but based on what I know and what I've heard, they're more fleshed out and more like realistic, if that's the proper word, in the actual setting. Where kind of in the game they are for the most part sort of like the faceless villain guys.
Yeah. And
there's some pretty good mods that kind of try to explore that a little bit that are pretty interesting. Speaking of, because what will happen is we'll talk for fucking 9 hours about how great the writing of the game is. But I do want to gloss over the gameplay just a little bit while we're here at the beginning. The combat is incredibly okay to bad. It's not very fun. You kind of just want to get through it.
Right.
It's usually the most fun just to do like the flashiest or the brokenest thing just to make it over with.
Right.
And the exploration and that type of thing is all good. And the environment design, just the actual like mechanical combat is very rough, and it was plagued with technical issues when it came out. It was released.
Well, this was the first game for the Source engine, right?
It was the first game
to come out
completed.
Was this game completed?
But it was done. Like they didn't work on it. Completed. Right. It was finished. Let's put it that way. But they weren't allowed to release it until after Half-Life 2 came out. But the game was actually done first.
Okay.
But the deadline was strict, and there's all kinds of reasons. But basically, the full vision wasn't realized. Which thankfully now there's the unofficial patch, which gets rid of a lot of the bugginess and optionally kind of adds some of the things back in they've kind of just fleshed out. It's not like a KOTOR 2, for instance, which we'll get to at some point, but where, like, the entire, like, ending was gutted. But it is noticeable that, like, it is not what it could have been necessarily, you know what I mean?
Right.
So...
Yeah. It's like a caterpillar cocooning itself and coming out as a moth instead of a butterfly.
Yeah. That's a strange but apt example.
What?
It's
Where a moth comes out, it's kind of bland, but you still kind of like to look at it, right? It's still aesthetically pleasing.
So on a technical and mechanical level, in terms of the combat at least, the game's kind of like... But it's just where everything else, where I'm sure we'll spend the whole entire time talking about. But also... This is where all the factions and the characters and all that setting stuff comes in. That's super fascinating and interesting and fun to...
But you gotta talk... We have to talk about how, even with the technical problems and stuff, the character designs and, like, the way the faces and stuff move is... I won't call it uncanny, because it doesn't get that far, but it's still really, really good.
Yeah, well, and that's what... one of the main things about when Source Engine came out, like Half-Life 2, people talked about how realistic at the time, and how great the physics were, and the lip sync and stuff.
Right.
And it shows in this game, because most of the game, and the most memorable parts of the games are, like, the dialogues and the characters, so... And, yeah, they did do... The only thing in that regard that I don't like is that your character's not, like, super customizable.
I mean, you kind of...
It's enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's enough, but... You know, I'm one of those people that, like, every time I play Mass Effect, which I've done twice now, and just other games, I will spend like 45 minutes making Commander Shepard, because I'm gonna have to look at this fucking face for the next 100 hours.
Well, so you never really see your character, so it doesn't really matter that much. But I would prefer to have the way the game is now and only have like the minor customization that you do,
as opposed to
then have like a lot of customization and stuff in like a really shitty game like Mass Effect 3.
So, yeah, I can't disagree.
Yeah, I mean, do your character customization last. If that's one of those things that, like, you feel you need to have, like, absolutely, like, maybe kind of make it third on the list, like, next to last on the list, But, make your game good first.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So... I think really the only other gameplay thing that I have any overt interest in talking about is just the classes that they let you be, because they had to they had to limit it to a certain extent, and the character building, which is actually for the fact that, like, mechanically the game's pretty simple. It's actually, like, pretty robust, like, compared to something, especially now, but even stuff that the 3D kind of RPGs that you can compare it to, like Alpha Protocol, which Obsidian made, or like Fallout 3 and New Vegas, which are just a little bit more simplistic. You kind of just put points into shit. But they really carried over the tabletop system and how you put the points into all of these different skills. The only problem is, in my opinion, a good chunk, maybe a third of the skills are just like useless. Like Haggle, who gives a flying fuck, never put points into Haggle, who cares?
How would you compare the way this game plays to Witcher 1, which is something we also talk about this season?
I think Witcher 1, gameplay-wise, is better and more fun to play, I think.
Okay.
I think the combat...
But what about, like, as far as, like, the way you can...
character customization?
Well, like, do your character build of Geralt, because you get, like, points you put into stuff. Yeah,
there's a good amount of customization in that regard as well with Geralt. I think it's more interesting in Vampire, just because the variety is greater, whereas in Witcher, it pretty much all pertains to, like, alchemy, combat, or the signs.
Right.
So it's all kind of... Which... And to some people might be good because you're building, what your build doesn't have to affect the way you can do the story.
Right.
But I also like, since socialization and dialogue is to me the major part of this game, that, like, those are parts of the things that you can build your character towards, you know what I mean?
That's understandable.
Yeah. So I think I slightly prefer it how it is in this game.
Okay. This game came out
2004.
So way before Witcher 1.
3 years. Witcher 1 came out in 2007.
Oh. Okay. So, a good chunk of time before. So.
Yeah.
This game has a lot of good ideas in it.
Yeah, that's
bad execution.
I won't even call it bad, but I will say there are overall, but there are bad parts.
Yeah.
But I think with that aside, is there anything else, kind of the gameplay or combat wise, that you felt was worth really talking about? Because I was going to get back into the faction shit because that's one of the most interesting things.
Blood magic is broken, and you can be a furry.
There you go. What else do you need to know?
Right.
10 out of 10.
Dude, bro, you can be a werewolf vampire.
I mean, pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tight. And then you fight an actual werewolf later in the game.
Fight.
Oh, yeah. You run away from.
Crush between two observatory doors. Slowly.
Slowly, right. That thing had enough time to, like, duck out of it if he would have just, like, not done this. If he'd done this, he would have lived.
Yeah. Werewolves aren't known for being smart, Eric, okay?
Yeah, they are. In this universe, they literally are. They're like shamans and shit.
So, yeah, what I wanted to mention about the Camarilla is that, like, they follow that sort of, you can compare them kind of to a U.S. sort of system in practice, where how the system ends up working is similar to a lot of how the government works here. But I like that. Also,
instead of oil, it's other vampires.
Yeah. Instead of oil, it's blood.
Right.
Instead of blood and oil.
Yeah.
What I like is that it's far enough removed that it's not directly associated with real world politics, directly, so that connotation is removed from it. Like, because there's not really the Camarilla and doesn't have like an economical standpoint. You know what I mean? Because and what allows that is the fact that literally the vampire society is intertwined with, but also removed from human society. Right. Because it's not, and that's part of the thing that makes the modern supernatural or the modern fantasy aspect of this game work, is because it doesn't have to, it can spend time explaining the intricacies specifically of the vampire shit. Right. Because it doesn't have to explain the human shit, because it's the real world, like, you understand how it works. Right. So it doesn't have to, whereas, if you have something like, fantastic examples of The Witcher, because you brought it up and we talked about it before, like, you have to go more in depth of how the culture and society and shit function, because it's not a real world. So there's less of, like, natural footing for your brain just to assume that, like, it doesn't explain it, you can assume it works similarly to how it is in real life. But yeah, I just appreciate that it's removed, because then there's no, like, because when people talk about the game now, still to this day, the main thing they talk about, in my experience, is, like, faction shit, right, and the characters too, but, like, fucking Anarchs, fucking Camarilla, yeah, stupid ass Sabbat. That's the kind of conversation that people still have, 15 years later. So
okay,
it's nice that it's sort of timeless, and that it's removed from, like, real world politics to a certain extent. Right.
Yeah, I love the Sabbat just because they're so dumb.
Yeah, they are goofy.
They're just like, if we just throw new vampires at a problem long enough, we'll just solve the problem.
It's best emphasized right at the very beginning when Jack's like, I'd be surprised if that dude knows he's a vampire. If he has any idea. Right. And how representative is that of the Sabbat in, like, the rule books? I have no fucking idea, but in the game it's perfect just because, like...
they're a literal, like, just flesh wall.
Well, and it's also a good excuse just to give you something that's not people to fight, because... Right. Not that the combat, is something you look forward to, but it's nice not to just be all the time fighting... dudes. Like, Nameless Thug 1, Nameless Thug 2.
No, it says you fight Nameless Sabbat 1, 2, and 3 continually.
And the other
Occasionally he'll have a bandana.
And the other thing I wanted to bring up about the factions, especially when you said like when you're comparing the Anarchs and the Camarilla a little bit, is that it's not so like it's not black and white, good and evil, obviously, but it's also not. There's also layers and there's a separation between the ideas that they espouse sometimes and the ideas that they practice, because all the Anarchs in downtown all throw a piss fit about LaCroix and the Camarilla because they fucking hate his guts. But then you go to then you go to like Hollywood, and Isaac isn't. He's the Baron, which is not the same thing as a prince, to be fair. But in practice, there's a lot of things that are similar, and he is more like he like demands that you come and pay him respect and shit.
Well, that's like how the Anarchs work anyway.
I know. I'm just saying that.
Yeah.
That they talk about how
because
they fought like the downtown Anarchs talk about following Nines because he's like earned the spot as their leader. But if you're a new vampire and you walk into Hollywood, you have to go kiss Isaac's feet.
No, I don't even think you have to necessarily do that. I think you just have to go there and be like, hey, I'm a vampire. I know you're a vampire. You could probably eat me. I just want to know, I'm cool if you're cool.
Well, you got to get permission to feed and all that other shit.
Right. Well, I think it's kind of like...
Well, I'm not saying it's like a bad thing.
I think it's more... I think the way the Anarchs work is you operate the way you decide you want to operate. And I think Isaac just decided to call himself the Baron of Hollywood because he's just like, I'm the oldest and strongest vampire around here, so this is mine. If you don't like it, you can kiss my vampiric ass.
Pretty much. But in some ways, in some Camarilla areas, the difference isn't as great as the characters sometimes talk about it being, which is all I'm saying. And that makes it interesting.
Right.
Because downtown Anarchs aren't the same as Isaac and his, he doesn't have a whole cabal of dudes in the game, but... Right.
Well, that's because the Anarchs is just a catch-all term for anyone who's not Sabbat and anybody who's not the Camarilla. So that's really what it is.
There's that aspect to it, but it's not that completely, because they do fall under they do work, like, function as a group. And they
right.
It's not just like...
They operate as a group under an umbrella, but there's no, like, centralized force
no, at least not that's explored in the game.
We are the ruling body of the Anarchs.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
You're basically just like... You just kind of go, I'm an Anarch. I know these are, like, these are the strong guys. I'm going to pay my respects when I need to. If I'm in Hollywood, I'll go see Isaac if I have to. If I'm downtown, you don't necessarily have to go see Nines.
I mean, you have to go there eventually just because you have to. No, I just mean like... No, you don't.
Yeah.
No, because he doesn't care.
Yeah.
I mean, he cares because he wants you specifically, but no. You never get the impression that he is... That's what I'm saying, is that... And it's true. It's just nice that it's thought out and fleshed out where it's not like...
Right. And I think also the fact is that Isaac wants to ensure that he's going to have no problems within his barony.
Yeah, no, it makes sense.
Right. Because it's fucking Hollywood. You got to keep that shit on lock. Like, you feed on the wrong homeless dude. Who knows he's actually a homeless dude, not Joaquin Phoenix, just deciding to walk around with a beard.
Well, and it's not like the Camarilla is stationed downtown, but it's not like they don't have their fingers in all over Los Angeles, because even Gary Goldman, all the Nosferatu they're under Hollywood specifically, and those are they're all working for LaCroix.
Literally under Hollywood.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I think also, they got to watch their step, because any misstep could turn everyone in your barony against you.
Yeah.
It's decide, the Camarilla, they must have the right idea. So I think, it makes sense in the long run.
And it's just, it's and there's no clear cut, like, this side makes no sense, like...
Except for the Sabbat.
I mean, but you can't even side with the Sabbat. Whereas a lot of people in New Vegas, for example, a lot of people find it very hard to like legitimately like actually like I agree with the Legion because it's so like in practice, like what you see in the game is just not fleshed out or complex enough where it's like this makes sense as opposed to the other stuff.
Right.
Like, is the NCR bureaucracy annoying and shit? Yes. But does that mean we need to, like, all women are now breeding slaves and we just, like, fuck each other and rape and kill everybody? No.
Right.
The caravans are safe, though.
Right.
They tried, but that's another game with some aspect of stuff got cut out. But it's nice that the factions in this game, at least the primary two, or it does let you kind of independent. So,
right.
Like it's nice that those are all like options that are easy to want to associate with.
Right.
Which makes this type of game where the primary conflict is these faction conflicts, like again New Vegas, interesting.
Yeah, but if you choose the Camarilla, you're a bootlicker and jump off a bridge into sunlight. Well,
if you side with LaCroix, I 100% agree with you, but you can side with Strauss and overthrow LaCroix.
Oh, right.
Yeah. Yeah. LaCroix's... everyone hates LaCroix. The son of an ass. An ass fuck bitch.
Because he's French. Go run away, LaCroix.
I'm an idiot.
With the sheriff.
Yeah. The best boss in the game.
Is he?
No.
Why is that mission not called I Shot the Sheriff?
It's just because it's just part of whatever the last quest is called. I forget.
Right, yeah.
Which for some reason, don't remember the name of. And the bosses in this game are rough.
Yeah. Especially the Kuei Jin chick.
Yeah.
She was rough.
Yeah, that was
rough. She turns into a giant squid.
Most of the back half of the game, I mean, not the back half, like the final fourth of the game, the bosses are all rough because it's a super cut. The whole entire thing's combat focused as fuck because they ran out of time. But
the end of the game has probably one of the coolest sequences, though, when you're riding in the cab with the cab driver.
The story wise, I like it all, and I think the endings are all good. Yeah.
So, did you want to talk about each area and the story of them?
Yeah, let's do it. So, prologue.
It's implied to still be Santa Monica, though, right?
Yeah. I mean, it's just nothing like too.
Yo, Santa Monica's a shithole.
Santa Monica is a.
Is it a shithole in real life? I don't know.
I don't think anywhere is as much of a shithole as it seems in this game, but.
Because you look at Santa Monica and you're like, is this New Jersey?
I love how the only ways to get to the other street, and this is just like a gameplay thing, I know, but it's just funny to me. It's always been weird to me. You can go through back alleys, or you can go through the parking garage and walk out the other half of the parking garage, and those are the only two ways to get from, First Street to Second Street.
Right.
At least on that block.
Right.
But what I like about Santa Monica is that it does immediately, throw you into, grungy, gross, gang violence. Well, the hospital's all dingy, and there's nobody.
This game takes place during the 90s, right?
It takes place in 2004 when it came out. It does to me. It feels
like the 90s.
I think it does have an extreme 90s vibe, which I think partly comes from just the tone of the original tabletop game, which I believe was created in the 90s. Okay. I think.
The early 2000s were basically just an extension of the 90s anyway.
But it takes place in 2004, but it does have an extreme 90s vibe. But I think they do say it's in present day, and I think the new game, the sequel, is present day as well. So it's going to be 2020. Right.
Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Did the Sabbat do 9/11?
Almost certainly not.
Are we sure?
But the Middle Eastern Sabbat
okay.
did.
Okay. Great.
Well, it was daytime. So,
I guess that makes,
they'd have to, avoid sunlight getting into the plane and on the plane.
Right. And on the plane in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I don't think Sabat.
And it's probably just humans.
Damn.
I wonder if there's anything about 9/11 in the setting.
I don't know. I have to look.
That's it. See, that's one thing that because you can kind of think about, like, even based on just this game.
Did the Sabat kill JFK?
Well, like, even based on just this game, you can, like, think about real world political events and how that would affect the vampire society.
Well, you can
the ripple effects of it.
Honestly, you could almost argue that, like, maybe the Anarchs had something to do with the Cuban Revolution.
Yeah, you don't know. I mean, it would make sense.
Right. Well, because Damsel is, like, she's got a Che Guevara shirt and stuff on, so who knows?
Yeah, you don't know. But yeah, it's just like, who knows? Like, with the increasing security of culture and the increasing, like,
surveillance
stuff that has come since 9/11.
How do the vampires deal with the Patriot Act?
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why the game feels like it has such a 90s vibe, is that it kind of, like, doesn't distance, but it kind of, like, doesn't put too much emphasis on the fact that, like, even in 2004, like, people running around with camera phones and stuff.
Yeah. Well,
they mention it, but it never comes up.
Yeah, Smiling Jack says something, and he's like, in this era of camera phones and stuff, you gotta watch.
That's what I'm interested. One thing I'm interested about the sequel, to see how, because that'd be nuts,
bro. I gotta see a vampire floss, bro.
Like, every person has a computer in their pocket with a video camera on it that can record hours of footage
in 4K.
Yeah. So how do you live as a vampire around that?
Right. Yeah, but you're also in, like, a world now where you have, like, you know, Uber and, you know, like, Tinder and shit like that. So it's way easier to just, like...
Well, I know, and that's...
meet random people in a private place. So it's like, how many Uber drivers that are driving around at night, driving drunk people around, are actually, you know, driving drunk people? Instead, they're picking up, like, just regular people who gotta go somewhere. They're feeding on them, and then they're not completely drying them out, because you never do that. You lose humanity for that. And, you know, they're stumbling around, and you assume they're drunk because they just got out of an Uber. But no, they're, like, they just got lost 3/4 of their blood.
Yeah.
So, yeah, like, that's, like, the perfect system to be a vampire in.
Yeah. There's upsides and downsides to it.
And, like, oh, you walk this girl home and she's, like, real stumbly and shit, and you're like, oh, well, she's just drunk. Nope. That dude's a vampire.
Yeah, it is interesting. I'm eager to see. I'm still in awe that game's even coming out, so.
Me too.
That is one of those games that's like, it's never going to get a sequel, because why would it, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, it's beloved, but besides that, it's like, it'd be like if they came out tomorrow with, like, Grim Fandango 2.
Well, they had the remake a couple years ago, right?
It was just a port. Like, they didn't even redo. It was just an HD version.
Oh, okay.
So, anyway. And I also like how in Santa Monica there's not really an Anarch presence. So, there's
got the Thin Bloods.
So you're kind of looking at it. It throws you in from the bottom of the rung, because there is a biological caste system.
Right.
For the vampires, but there's also, it's socially enforced, especially, like, by the Camarilla, whereas opposed the Anarchs don't really give a fuck about that kind of thing.
Yeah, just don't violate their NAP.
But, I mean, and like we said, obviously, like, the strong will rise to the top here and there.
The cream always comes to the top, right?
But at the same time, it's not like, as far as we see in the game, Anarchs aren't running around, like, fucking with Thin Bloods and shit, you know?
Right. But they're also not, like, helping them either.
No.
Yeah, Nines Rodriguez.
Well, and that's what I'm saying, is it throws you in at that bottom level, and then it slowly, you get to...
Right.
You ascend as your character does, according to some theories about the game, that your character's increasing their generation. That's why they're so strong. But as you
how would they do that?
It makes no sense.
Diablerizing.
I don't know how it works either. I'm just saying it's a popular theory, because because by the biological limits of how strong your vampire could be, apparently it doesn't make any sense, but whatever. I don't know, and I don't have enough technical Vampire the Masquerade knowledge to have a cogent argument either way, so.
Right.
But So there's almost no like faction presence in Santa Monica. It's ruled by the Camarilla because Jeanette and Therese are Camarilla and Bertram's Camarilla, so they're at each other's throats. But they're far enough removed from LaCroix where he.
No, Jeanette is an anarch, and Therese is Camarilla.
They're not. Also, they're not different people.
I know. They're different personalities.
They work together, but Jeanette gets in bed with the Camarilla. Literally, with Bertram.
Right.
She plays both sides, seemingly, but she's not actually... I mean, she's actually...
Okay, so can we talk about how they mention in the game that vampire chicks either don't or won't fuck? They thought to bring that up.
But Jeanette does fuck.
Jeanette does fuck. Is that necrophilia?
Yes.
Damn.
I don't know. Are they cold?
That's a good question. How does that work?
Wait until we talk about Buffy, because in Buffy specifically, I could go on for hours about how the fuck does biologically how does this shit work, because it's contradictory, and it's almost the same thing.
Because as a vampire, you're dead, right?
Yes.
You're dead. And you've got no blood flow. So how do you fuck at that point? How are you not just completely flaccid all the time?
Is it a magic? Like a magic cock?
I don't know.
Well, and you have to make a human drink your blood for them to become a vampire.
Right.
So there's some flow going on somewhere.
Well, no,
for some reason.
No, because they don't have blood anymore. They have essence. They have Vichai. Vichai, yeah.
Which is blood.
It's Vitae, okay? It's Vitae.
It's a fluid that keeps them alive by running through their veins. But it's not
Shut
blood,
up,
though.
nerd. Shut up.
Don't worry about it.
Right.
Yeah, it's... Well, you could go on and on about it. Biologically, how does this shit work?
Right.
It doesn't, it's magic.
How does vampire physiology work at all?
Yeah, it doesn't. It's magic. I guess that's the point.
Right.
Because it can't be explained. If it could be explained... Well, and there is the one character later on who is taking vampires and doing experiments on them to try to figure out how they work. So there's that aspect of that even in the game. It's in Chinatown, remember? The mob boss, he puts you through the gauntlet.
Oh, right. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, the triad guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot about that, yeah.
So that's what I like about Santa Monica, and it gives you a good bunch of weirdo fuckers and the prosthetic guy, Gimbal, fucking weirdo.
Yeah.
Therese cool. And Jeanette and Therese are some of the weirdest characters.
You also is the blood bank guy too.
The blood bank, yeah. And Arthur,
the thin blood guys on the beach. And you got the diner.
Yeah, so it's just good.
Oh, you meet Beckett there too, right?
Yeah, he first shows up right at when you go to do the bomb.
Yeah, you blow up the
quest or whatever. And of course, we would be remiss not to talk about the hotel just a little bit, because
that is Santa Monica. That is
fantastic.
One of my favorite, the best ever. Anything. It's a survival horror area within another kind of game, and it's the best survival horror with a ghost I've ever seen.
It is. It's fantastic. It's a great level. I think I mentioned when we were first playing, I'm some people are of the opinion, and I don't necessarily disagree, that this game does blow its load a little bit right at the beginning, because some people's favorite area is Santa Monica, and easily one of the best levels is the hotel.
Oh,
so.
Yeah, it's because it's got a cool backstory. You got to run around finding tidbits of it, and there's just crazy-ass poltergeist activity going all over. And you never see the ghost.
Yeah.
I think that's the best part, is you never see the ghost. Because that, like Hitchcock says, it's the anticipation of the gunshot that's more scary than the gunshot. As soon as you pull your dick out with the ghost, it's done. It's not scary anymore. But, If I hear your belt, I'm like, oh shit, this is fucked up. I don't want to see this.
Yeah. Well, and it just keeps you on your toes in terms of it's never like obvious what's going on. The ghost can do, or like what sort of form it has, or anything. So
right, and like even like as a vampire and you're a relatively new vampire, so you're now new to this whole world you didn't know existed before, and now you're thrown against a fucking ghost who you, one, didn't know existed 2 days ago. 2, you can't touch it, fight it, or do anything to it. And 3, it's trying to light you on fire.
Yeah.
Which is bad. Vampires don't like fire.
Well, I like that it's like a semi-overt reference to The Shining in premise, but it's like almost what happens after, you know?
Right.
So, it's interesting.
I don't even remember why you have to go there.
You gotta
get a necklace, right? Or something like that?
Oh, fuck. Well, she wants you to take she wants you to unhaunt it. To do that, you have to get the necklace.
Oh, okay. Unhaunted.
But I forget exactly why she needs it unhaunted.
I think because she wants to rebuild it.
Or demolish it.
She wants the property.
Yeah. And I think she owns the property. She just can't do anything with it because
of the ghost.
Yeah.
Wait, do ghosts have rights?
No.
So the camera roll doesn't, like, acknowledge the rights of ghosts?
No. Ghosts don't have rights, bro.
Damn.
They're like droids.
Damn. Fright power. No, fright power. But no. Yeah, and they never really explain how, like, how Kindred Society, which is what the vampires are, they're called Kindred, how they kind of deal with other kinds of supernatural creatures. Because there's other supernatural things. You got werewolves, you've got, what are called, like, you got, like, ghouls and shit, you got ghosts.
There's mages,
Mages. Well, mages are just people who, like, in lore, because I read up on the lore a bit, like, of, like, the universe itself, mages are, like, everyone has, like, a spark of, like, the creator's power, and mages are just dudes who are like, oh, we got this? Okay, cool, I'm gonna use it now. They kind of just awake to their own spiritual powers, so they just can do magic now. Yeah.
Yeah, there's all kinds of, like, in a lot of these other aspects of the overall setting are, like, hinted at, but they're not. Just enough where it's, like, obvious that there's more to it, like the vampire hunter stuff.
Right.
Like, hunters are a huge thing in
in
the setting.
Also, they also kind of mention clans and stuff in it that you can't be.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. There's all kinds of...
That one chick that you gotta get the artifacts for.
Yep, I forget what it's called, but they eat flesh instead of...
Yeah, they have to drink blood and eat flesh.
Yeah.
And you got the Simiche, the flesh guys, who... He makes the boyos.
Yeah. Those little fucks.
Yeah. What are they even supposed to be? They're fucking ghoulies.
They remind me, for whatever reason, they remind me of, like, the thing from Basket Case on Legs.
Oh my god! I was trying to think of what it was, and I'm like, that...
The brother from Basket Case is what they remind me of, but they're gray and on legs.
Yes. No, they don't. They don't have legs. They use their arms to run around.
Yeah.
They're like a fucking Geodude. They just run around. They're little fucking boyos.
Yeah.
They're fucking goofsters. They're fucking goofsters is what they are.
Yeah.
And the Simiche guy comes out when you go to fight him. He's like, I see your nerves are not so deadened as to not see surprise. It's like,
what are you on, dude?
Fuck?
Yes, I do make goofsters.
Right. Were you not grabbed by the ghoulies?
God damn it.
Yeah, no, like, and, like, the funniest part is, like, his whole plan is, like, yeah, I tested them on people and make snuff films to make money off of it. And Isaac is like, yo, you gotta stop this dude from making snuff films. This shit's fucked. And you're like, why?
What the fuck is happening?
Right.
Even a Shimizu needs money.
Right. They're the true ANCAP. He violated that chick's NAP.
That's the free market right there.
Right.
I don't respect your laws telling me I can't make goofsters, kill people, film it, and sell it.
Right.
Oh, God.
Oh, fuck.
But that's Hollywood.
That's how Hollywood runs anyway.
Yeah, I mean, yes.
They're little Macaulay Culkins.
Yeah. Do you know didn't he legally make his middle name Macaulay Culkin?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because I think somebody like donated money and asked him to do it, because he doesn't have a middle name, so he made his legal name Macaulay Culkin or something.
Great. Perfect.
I don't know, something like that.
Oh yeah, and in Hollywood too, you gotta fight the stripper.
Hollywood's loaded.
Yeah.
You fight the fucking Gollum.
Oh yeah. You don't have to fight him.
No.
You can convince him.
Yep.
You fight the stripper. You negotiate with the porn store guy who has the strippers.
Yeah.
Yo, the porn store guy was cool though. What was he called again?
I forget his name. But he was balding, but he had the ponytail.
Yeah, oh god, yeah. And the mustache.
Hollywood has the cemetery, too, with the...
Yeah, he also had the pop fucking collar and shit. Oh, god.
Hollywood's
we're getting ahead of ourselves, though.
Let's just cover Hollywood. Fuck it, we'll do it out of order. We already talked
right.
half the shit that's there anyway. There's there's Velvet, obviously.
Yes, Vivi.
And her quest with, like, the guy who wrote the script about vampires that's startlingly accurate.
Right.
So, enough to like potentially violate the masquerade.
Yeah, right.
So they're like,
see, that's kind of the cool part about sometimes the quest givers is the type of quest they give you kind of shows a bit about their personality.
Yeah.
Because Velvet is like, destroy a script, leave him alone, do not touch him.
Yeah, because she likes him. Yeah.
Well, no, she just like she doesn't want.
She considers him like a friend. No, she talks about him like they're friendly.
Oh.
They're on good terms, yeah.
Well, I mean...
And that's just her
Well, her personality is, too, she doesn't want, like, innocent people getting involved.
Yeah.
Like, keep the normies out of it.
Because whatever hints about her personality that you get, it seems like she absolutely wants to distance herself from her past. So you can surmise that something fucked up happened or she was abused or something where, like, she doesn't want that to happen. You know, she doesn't want innocent people to get fucked over.
Right. Yeah. But you have to kill his informant.
Yeah. Yeah,
that guy, he violated the masquerade. He's got to die.
That fucker's got to go.
Yeah. So, Velvet works for Isaac, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Enter him. Yeah.
Excellent. You got the graveyard guy who you send a hooker to.
Yeah.
That guy. Yeah. One of the best missions in the game.
He's like, what does he need to leave for the first time? He's like, yeah, I need to go
he just needed to go to sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
Or no, he wanted to get drunk.
Yeah. He's like, I can't leave because these fucking zombies, they're just going to come out and they're going to break the gate. And you're like, how many zombies can it really be?
And then it's a lot of zombies. It's a lot of Zambambo.
Several. Dozen.
Yeah, right.
I remember the first time I played that game, that mission being really fucking hard, and thankfully I got it. I beat it the first time. This last time I played it, but
right.
I recall that mission being a pain in the ass. Also, you have the Nosferatu dudes all hang out technically in Hollywood. So even though they're Camarilla.
Your boy Gary Golden. Oh yeah, and that you do that one mission where you get the embarrassing picture of
the model.
The model. She ends up killing herself. And the Nosferatu that you do the mission for, she's like, good. You're like, what the fuck is your problem?
There's a hacker guy who has you bug a couple different places so he can hack them or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's just nice to get a peek into this is how the Camarilla intelligence works. Like it tells you the Nosferatu are like their runners and they're like intelligence guys.
Spies. Well, because they can literally turn invisible.
So it's nice to see it in practice.
Yeah. And you got the Ash
Rivers?
Yeah. Mission.
I like
Ash Rivers is literally the dude from Deus Ex Human Revolution where he's like, I didn't ask for this. But you ask Isaac about it because that's one of the cool things too is like if something's mentioned you can probably ask somebody about it. And Isaac goes, he was like my biggest star. He made me a lot of money. What, am I going to let him fucking die? No.
Well, and I like how it's mentioned extremely early on, and his name's like easy to remember. So like right at the very beginning of the game when the news comes on, one of the first things they always say is that Ash River's got in a car accident and miraculously got up. And you really don't think anything of it. You think it might be like a joke at like how, you know, you hear about a celebrity car crash or something, or a celebrity hits somebody with a car or something, and
not Paul Walker.
Yeah. Oh God. And so it seems just like a jab at kind of celebrity culture or whatever, but it's really like
this dude's a vampire.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
Well, because like Isaac dragged him out and was like, "Fuck, what am I gonna do?" And he's like, "The only thing I can think of is, make him a vampire." That'd have been a really easy solution in Weekend at Bernie's.
Yeah.
Oh no, he's dead. Oh, he was dead already, so I guess you can't turn him into a vampire.
Now we'll make him undead.
Well, is there vampires that can raise the dead? I swear there was one of them that could do, like, necromancy, right?
Yeah, but not that I remember enough of where it sticks out to me.
Huh.
I think it's mentioned.
Right.
I mean, obviously, there's some degree of necromancy because zombies exist.
Right, that's true.
And they're not everywhere, so it's like...
Right.
They're contained.
Oh, yeah, the Mafia guys. They had, like, zombies and shit in their place, too.
Yeah. What the fuck was up with that?
I don't remember.
Did it say what was up?
Well, yeah, because they were doing, like, flesh experiments and shit. They were, like, working at making
That's one of my
zombies.
favorite parts, but... Is that that's not considered... No, is that considered Chinatown or Hollywood? You do it right at the end of the game, but it's its own area.
Right.
Anyway, anything else big about Hollywood?
Not that I can really think of.
Going through all this, there's not too many. There's the main quest, but there's one long side quest with the murderer that goes through all these areas, which I like when it starts.
Oh, the West Side Ripper or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, you eventually confront him.
He's a gangrel, right?
Yeah. And you can convince him like that he needs to stop because first he wanted to get revenge because his family was murdered.
Right.
And he ended up turning into a vampire, but then he started like...
That's really convenient.
He started trying to Batman. He thought he was Batmaning.
Bro.
But he was out of control, yeah.
They literally ripped that off in Witcher.
It's kind of a common... I mean, like, it's in Batman. There's dudes who Batman. So...
But as a werewolf?
Well, technically, it's not a werewolf.
You can technically suck my dick.
He's a gangrel. Speaking of gangrels, I like how Beckett, you can see him loafing around in Santa Monica. You can see him off on a cliff.
Oh, really?
The first time you go to the pier to look at the body.
Is he a wolf?
Yeah, he's a wolf form. So he just looks like a wolf. But it's only the first time you go, yeah.
Neat.
But you can tell that, he's watching you a little bit. That's not why he's there, is to watch you, but he's aware of you.
Right. So should we talk about what the crux of the story is before?
Well, let's kind of do sort of the main plot, kind of at the end, because then we can talk about the ending. Okay. So downtown's where it really, which comes right after Santa Monica, is right where it throws you into the main politics of of at least Los Angeles, and to a certain extent, the whole city.
You go and meet Nines first, right? Yeah, you
choose. Nines saves you,
right?
And he's like, come to the last round. Right. But you're supposed to go see LaCroix, and depending on what you do, they have different dialogue. Like, if you go see LaCroix first, then Rebel, or Damsel, I don't know why, in my head, her name is Rebel.
She's Damsel Rebel, bro.
But Damsel calls you, a LaCroix's lapdog and shit if you go see LaCroix. I mean, I think she still, like, is shitty towards you.
Yeah, she calls you Candy all the time.
They specifically say things that if you go to see LaCroix first, it makes a difference in what their dialogue is. Or same with LaCroix, I think he's like, I specifically told you to come talk to me, and you went to see Nines. What did he say? And, you can lie to him or tell him the truth or whatever. But to me, it's always felt sort of like the hub. I feel like you're there the most.
Yeah,
because you have to go back and forth between Nines.
Because you got to go to the last round.
And that's where most of the primary characters hang out. That's where Jack's at. That's where Nines is at. Until he leaves, that's where LaCroix's at.
Right. Yeah. And is that the first time you meet the cab driver, or is that in Santa Monica?
Well, you you take the cab from Santa Monica to...
Oh, right.
The cab doesn't show up until you do the first couple, the big story mission in Santa Monica with Tourette.
Tourette.
Or you can, not do Tourette. You can do Jeanette.
So
Or Therese.
Was their dad was a vampire too, right?
I don't know if it's explicitly stated or not.
Right. Okay. So did they commission the painting of them to be separate with their dad? And
they must have.
Does it change when you combine them?
I don't believe so.
Okay.
Because Therese is the original personality.
Teresa is.
Teresa's like I think Teresa's... Her personality traits are exacerbated when Jeanette exists. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
But to the extent that there is an original, the original is Therese.
Closer to Therese.
Yeah.
Okay. So she's Malkavian, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's not too many Malkavian NPCs in the game, unfortunately.
There's 2.
Are you counting the Primogen?
You never meet.
Yeah.
Grout.
Okay.
You never meet Grout.
Yeah.
So,
okay. I wasn't counting.
The Thin Blood on the beach that always that has the prophetic sayings and shit.
Yeah.
She's implied to be a Thin Blood Malkavian, which I would imagine she is.
Yeah.
And then you have Tourette, which I like that as for her to become her name, because Tourette and the Malkavians are fucking crazy. Which I'm not saying people with Tourette's are crazy, but
Yeah, I got you.
It's a mental health neurological disorder.
Yeah.
Neurological, not mental health, but
yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
And I like the fortune teller chick too a lot. I forgot to mention her.
Yeah.
Because just the obvious, in retrospect, the obvious foreshadowing of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not obvious the first time at all, but
the cab driver's Kane. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. He's fucking Kane.
Don't open it. Don't open it.
Right.
That's the one thing you tell people when they play the game. They're like, "Is there anything I need to know about the game?" Probably don't play Malkavian your first time. Maybe Nosferatu. Also, don't open it. And they're like, "What?" Say, just don't open it. Don't worry about it. You'll know.
You'll know. You'll figure it out.
You'll know. Just remember that. Don't open it. But Hollywood's got the flesh eater chick. I can't for the life of me remember what they're called.
Mia? No. Oh, her name. I don't remember what her name is.
I don't remember her name or their.
Yeah, I just remember she really creeps me out. Wait.
You can fight her. I know that, and she makes zombies come out of the.
Yeah. Does downtown also have the Russian quest from the chick with the big ass honkers?
Yeah. The groupie for the cure. You can tell that she looks like a groupie for the cure. Yeah.
She got some big ass honkers.
It's got Patty, who's the ghoul for the one guy that is just asking everybody "Hey, have you seen my vampire?"
Oh yeah, the
master?
chick. Yeah.
And then
you can send her to the flesh eater chick too.
Yeah, you can do a lot of stuff with her. You can send her to the blood bank.
Oh yeah.
You can send Gimbal to the blood bank. You can send Gimbal to the flesh eater lady.
Really?
Yeah. If you don't do that quest until you meet her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
I like that. I really like that. That's thinking. You're thinking. I like that.
Yeah. And most people are never aren't going to see that, but it just allows. They thought
right.
It allows you to do it. It rewards you for a certain extent to doing stuff in any order. There's still a benefit to doing it.
Speaking of rewards, we got to talk about. So you get the penthouse in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
So when you get the final sanctuary, or is it called an Elysium?
I forget.
Wait, I think the Elysiums are just safe places in general, but yours is your specific one is your sanctuary. You can do missions for Gary Golden, and he will give you sexy posters.
Now there's only a couple in the original, but the unofficial patch plus that we played adds, 4 other ones.
What does that one add?
That one, I think all of them besides Damsel and Jeanette and Vivi.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think it adds the other 4 that there are, yeah.
Oh, okay.
I think that is another thing that was planned to be more of,
right.
But then they kind of just added it back to the game to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's really cool. I think that's another one of my favorite things about that game, is like being able to do
just
that.
having pinups of all the...
Yeah, because there's characters in this game that like, I'm like, man, that character's kind of attractive. I won't.
Understandable.
Yeah, I'm not ashamed of it.
You should be.
Why? That's literally how the anime industry makes money.
That's how every industry makes money.
True.
Oh, look, they're attractive. I'll buy that.
Right.
I'll watch that.
Right. So after downtown... Well, I'm assuming we're downtown, right? We forgot to talk about Fat Larry.
We gotta talk about Fat Larry.
Gotta talk about Fat Larry with an FAT, because he got a weight problem. He just don't give a fuck.
Yeah, I like just the... There's always, like, mundane, just, like, gang shit going on constantly.
Yeah, right.
In the entire game, it's just funny to me. Like, hey, you want to go get this briefcase? And you're like, sure. It's like, all right, cool. Do it.
Yeah, right.
And then you got, like, these dudes in suits and nameless thugs, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Right.
Blast them up. You got the fucking Russian mob.
Right. Oh, yeah, Boris or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's extorting money out of Cure Groupie.
Well, to be fair, she took a loan.
Right, to start her club.
To start the club, and she's not paying him back as agreed. So, but apparently, like he's also an asshole. Yeah, and he fucks her all the time.
Right,
but she doesn't
as
pay.
Payment for the loan.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, I can't blame him.
No, but I'm gonna kill him though.
Yeah, well, yeah, and then I'm gonna take his cut of the money and stare at her honkers. Because, like I said, we played Anarchia like a hardcore lesbian.
Speaking of bars and clubs, I love the dancing. I think they...
Oh my god, yes. Okay, honestly, like, the one thing I'm disappointed about in this game is the music. Because, you know what I want in this game?
What?
I want, like, fucking Misfits. I want The Cure. I want some Evanescence. Bro, tell me right now.
It would.
Bring Me to Life would not be in this fucking game.
It wouldn't be terrible, but I really love the...
Some Smashing Pumpkins.
The OST. The licensed tracks in the bars are alright. It could use more. It wouldn't be bad to have like a... It'd probably be common, you know, it's something that's in games more now to have like a radio or something. Right. And that would work in that context. But the actual like OST, I think is actually really good. I really love it.
Yeah. But yeah, when you dance, it's the funniest shit ever.
I think they brought some of the animations back for 2. I hope.
They better have.
Because they're just so like stand outly fucking goofy.
Right.
So, and you can. I think there's not a club in Hollywood or Chinatown, but there's a few different places you can do it. I also like they all like circle around you.
Yeah.
It's like your fucking.
You got the vampiric charm.
Your
bro.
vampiric charisma entices them to surround you.
Right.
So we pretty much covered Hollywood. Chinatown's the least like feels the most like
rushed.
Yeah, but there's still a lot of good stuff. There's the 2 guys that that like wanted to kill each other because they're afraid they're gonna steal each other's money from a heist they did a long time ago, right?
Well, each one of them has a key.
Oh,
because it has a lock. It has 2 locks on it, and each took a key, so they can only open it together. And
now they're just like paranoid.
Yeah, that the other one's
years,
kill...
for decades, they hate each other basically for no reason.
Right. You also got the fortune teller guy, who
he's one of them.
Is he?
Yeah.
Oh, right. Okay. Yeah. You walk up to him like, you want a fortune? And they've all got, frankly, stereotypical Chinese English accents. It's not great. He goes, someone will come to your door. It's Jehovah's Witness. Don't open it. It's like,
I had a Jehovah's Witness come to see me this morning, actually. It was lovely.
No, that sounds awful. I hate those guys. No offense, but... The
Were Shark quest with the Japanese...
Yeah, Yuki.
Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, that's cool. She calls you a demon the whole time. She's like, you're I'll kill you last.
Yeah, I like... Just it's so fucking like.
Oh, you got the traditional Chinese medicine seller, and he's like, I got many cure to many problem, and you're like, you got any guns? He's like, oh, I serve in China Army. I know guns. And he like, this solved many problem.
And then all the fucking things float around.
There's guns. He goes, no credit cards.
And there's the one like mysterious guy, who's like, when you're done with all of his quests, he's like mysterious the whole time you talk to him, and then he just disappears. He's like in the pawn shop or whatever.
Oh yeah.
Just, I mean, so even if it's seemingly like the least
right, and Chinatown's full of the Kuei Jin, who are
Chinese, not vampires.
Yeah, they're energy vampires, if anything, who see themselves as better than the Kindred, because they're assholes. Because, like, if you look up the lore of the Kuei Jin, they're no better than the Kindred.
No. They
just think they're better. Also, I need to mention that Tyler and I got into an argument during playing this game because Tyler was like, oh, I gotta go see the Lin Kuei chick. And I'm the who? He's like, the Lin Kuei. I'm like, Sub-Zero is not in this fucking game, bro. He's like, what? I'm like, the Lin Kuei's in Mortal Kombat, you stupid moron. He's like, oh yeah.
At least it was only the once.
Bro, why do we have one of these arguments every game we play?
I don't know, because I'm constantly talking and I can't remember the names of everything all the time, so my wires get crossed. And I don't speak Chinese. I don't know what either one of them means, so it just sounds.
Uh-huh.
And Kuei Jin and Lin Kuei aren't the farthest apart things in the world.
Yeah, sure.
They're not that similar, but they're not that different.
Right.
In terms of how they sound to me.
Right. So you're racist.
Yeah. This is what I've been trying to say all along.
Right.
My hood is like is at a strange angle. I feel like I'm about to choke. So really, that's all I have to say about Chinatown.
You fight the Kuei Jin chick there.
Yeah, well, I was going to kind of get into the
okay,
sort of the main quest now. So the whole crux of the plot is all the different factions. Speaking of Kuei Jin, before I get into it, now that I think about it, they're all technically another faction you could side with.
Yeah, but why would you?
Why would you? Also, their ending is like the worst ending for your character.
Right.
They fucking basically
well, let's talk
grave you alive.
Let's talk about the endings later.
So the whole crux is the Ankaran sarcophagus, which hopefully everyone hopes has an antediluvian in it that they can diablerize. That's what seems like most people want to do. Or they want to use it just as a political maneuvering tool.
Right.
And so the whole game...
Because the Camarilla does not officially recognize the antediluvians as existing.
Oh, yeah, no, but...
And for some context, the antediluvians are like the vampires who are third generation. So they're like one of the most powerful vampires that exist. And they ate their forefathers, the second generation. And they predate the deluge, which is the Great Flood, which was sent down to kill all the vampires.
So they're old and strong.
Old and very, very strong.
They wake up every couple hundred years and they...
Well, it's implied that they... that the final nights are here and it's leading up to Gehenna, where all the antediluvians will wake up, eat all the fucking vampires, and the world will end. At least for the vampires.
Yeah, that's their...
Yeah. And LaCroix's whole plan is like, yo, I'm gonna eat this thing.
Yeah. He's got little man syndrome.
He fought with Napoleon and caught the bug.
Yeah.
Like a
slightly less successfully, I might add.
What do you mean?
He was not quite as successful as Napoleon.
Oh, well, no. Because he got turned into a vampire. Like, how successful can you be as a fucking vampire?
I mean, he could have done better in Vampire Society, but he was always... Everyone kind of... Even the people on his side, like, look down on him like... He's a self-righteous, like, asshole who has a big dude following him around and thinks he's better than he is.
Right. The sheriff.
Yeah. The big lad.
Yeah.
I like how he's the guy who is executes your sire at the beginning.
Right. Yeah. You're like, I'm gonna have to fight that guy.
Almost certainly.
Right.
Me and that gorilla fella, we'll be fighting.
Yeah.
Next to the final boss. And
I thought he was the final boss. Because you don't really fight LaCroix.
no, he turns into that thing.
Oh, the Kyteran Terror or whatever the fuck?
Yeah, the
Chiroptean
Pterodon.
The Chiroptean Terror or whatever the fuck?
The Pterofuctal, or yeah, it's something. He turns into
Troller fuck doll.
the worst boss in the game.
Yeah. The Kuei Jin chick.
That one takes a lot longer.
She's literally a fucking bullet sponge.
I know, but the Pterofuctal either one shots you, or you run around for 40 minutes and you don't have any bullets, or you use the flamethrower and he dies in 2 seconds.
He's like that boss from Kingdom Hearts who'll just like spin, and his hitbox is so fucking shit he'll just hit you when you're 6 feet from him.
Yeah. Not great.
No.
Back to the bosses not being great, the combat not being that good.
Right.
Another boss that we didn't even mention the Plague quest, which is interesting enough. I don't have too much to say about it.
Because it's kind of a really interesting idea that you don't think about. Because the vampires are essentially fucking human-shaped mosquitoes, and if they pick up a pathogen from a person they feed on, it doesn't affect them, but the next person they feed on will get affected by it.
Yeah.
And you guys start to see, like, CDC motherfuckers showing up and
there's the people are doing it on purpose, so you have to...
Yeah.
He's got some fucking
Cleanse
twisted,
them.
like, religious ideology.
You gotta
Father
cleanse
Bishop.
them.
Bishop, Father, what's his fucking name? Bishop?
I don't remember. He looked like a member of WASP.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of, like, shock rock references, I feel like.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Said back to that, like, 90s.
See, that's the thing.
Sort of vibe.
They should have had Rob Zombie on this soundtrack. Tell me I should not have heard more human than human in this game.
I think the reason that there's not a radio, or I mean, also it was just less common at the time in this kind of game to have that sort of thing. But also,
it costs a lot of money.
Just financial.
A lot of money.
But all of the licensed music that they use in the clubs and stuff is like underground sort of artists,
right?
That are not like unknown, but just not, that's not going to cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars for the one song in one area,
Right.
Yeah. So you have all the factions fighting over the sarcophagus, and you're choosing who you really want to align with, and you're maneuvering through all these quests. And, a lot of times in this kind of game, the main quest sort of feels like, compared to like an Elder Scrolls game, where a lot of the time the main quests are sort of like, yeah, they're usually okay. They're there. They're not bad.
I think
the main quest in this game is like one of the best quest lines, or a lot of the best quests are main quests.
I think this game does what Oblivion should have done, where it takes place in relatively the same city and a suburb of, and it makes it feel huge.
Yeah.
Because LA, in and of itself, is a big-ass fucking city.
Yeah.
And you go to a good chunk of it, but you still know there's more to it.
Well, and also, it feels expansive, but it's very easy to have the entire game memorized.
Right.
So it's small enough where you're never like, where the fuck do I go? Where the fuck am I at? What the fuck's going on? But also at the same time, it's big enough and spacious enough and designed in a way where, like, it feels bigger than it is.
Yeah.
Which is a hallmark of good, like, world design, I think, in my opinion.
Oh, of course.
Making it feel like bigger than it is. Same thing with something like, I don't know, like Dark Souls. Or Dark Souls, really. The actual landscape isn't huge because you're dying all the time, and it's structured in a certain way. It feels like you're exploring the entire continent or planet or whatever.
Right.
So once you get to the back like fourth of the main quest, though, it does kind of which is, and this is a common complaint you'll hear, it does sort of end up like the whole entire end of the game is just all combat stuff.
Right.
And there's aspects of that earlier too, like there's a lot of the bosses you can't talk your way out of. You just have to fight. And melee falls off hard. Like melee and unarmed fall off hard at the end. So it's very smart to like make sure you have some ranged ability. So magic and guns, or one or the other.
Can you really have that much magic?
I mean, it depends on what clan you are.
Yeah, because there's only like really one clan that has magic, and it's the fuck. What are they called again?
Tremere.
Oh yeah, the Tremere guys.
Because some of these bosses like will just, if you get close to them, they like shred you alive, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
Like the Pterofuctal.
Yeah.
But there's other ones. Like the weird, like the spider bitch. She's like naked, and she's like, her body's like a fucking, got like 4 legs or 6 legs. You know what I'm talking about? You fight them in the sewers a couple times.
Oh, like the little.
And they like throw corpses at you.
Oh, they throw rib cages and shit. Yeah.
Fucking nasty.
Yeah, that's what I like about this game too. Is like, it is not afraid to do some nasty, gross ass shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I
mean, the snuff film shit, like, if it was like not like sort of goofily animated, it would be fucking gross.
Yeah. This is, if somebody was like, oh hey, do you know who directed this game? I'd be like, no, who? And they said Rob Zombie, I'd be like, that makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is fucking nasty, bro.
Rob Zombie or Marilyn Manson, I would believe it in a second. That's another person I'm surprised that if they would have had a, like, royalty paid out soundtrack. Yeah. Marilyn Manson would definitely be on it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah. And 9 Inch Nails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All true.
This is like industrial rock, the game. Am I wrong?
Oh, you're not wrong. You're not that right, but you're not at all wrong.
Not at what? Huh?
So, I'm trying to think of what's specific, because most of the stuff at the end is just like, it's fine enough, you know? It's a couple hours of like combat gauntlets. You climb up you got to go through and fight the, Ming Zhao is her name, right? The Kuei
Ming Zhao, yeah.
And so if you're not fighting with her, you got to go fight her, and you run through that area, and you can get Yuki to help you, right? If you have the plus patch and you teamed up with her before.
Yeah.
Then
the were shark is so cool.
Yeah. And then you well, it really kind of starts with the werewolf thing, which we mentioned earlier. You got to do the Kuei Jin base, which is like a combat gauntlet with a couple puzzles and a boss.
Yeah.
What were we going to say?
Well, I was going to say, I think we should kind of explain what... So, you go and you're trying to find the sarcophagus, and one of the quests you got to do for LaCroix is go find the primogen of the Malkavians, Alistair Grout, at his mansion, and you go and you find what was Alistair Grout.
That's one of the best...
Or, no, what is implied that was Alistair Grout.
That's one of the best areas, too, I think. Just mostly because of his commentaries or his tapes that you can find.
And then, you know, it's revealed that, the last person seen outside of his house was Nines Rodriguez, so they offer up a blood hunt or whatever. Yeah. And so everyone's looking for Nines, so Nines disappears. Everyone at the last round's mad at you because everyone knows you're the Cammy bitch. And... they're like, it's because you Nines can't be here. It's like, no, not really. And so then you find out where he is. You go there, and it's like, you're talking to Nines, and he's like, oh yeah, somebody lit this shit on fire, which is bad because we're vampires, and we're bad with fire. Also, this is werewolf territory, and then just immediately gets fucking taken out by the fucking werewolf. Well, by a werewolf.
Yeah. I mean, the werewolf in the game.
I thought there was another one. Or is it the same one that attacks him? Because that one, like, disappears with him and...
No. There's just...
I think there's 2, bro.
There might be. Yeah, the one, tackles him off the cliff or whatever, yeah.
Which, Nine Rodriguez is either really fucking strong or really fucking smart or both, because he's able to defeat his werewolf.
Yeah, leaves it vague enough where you're not positive what happened, but...
Right. But he lives.
Yeah.
And you run around an area long enough to have the trolley train show up where the sky lift or whatever show up so the werewolf can get stuck in the fucking doors because it's a fucking moron. And then you go talk to Ming Zhao, and Ming Zhao's like, oh yeah, I turned into 9s because LaCroix told me to. And you're like, what? I'm like, and everyone's like, and LaCroix the whole time's like, what? Why would you work with the Kuei Jin? They hate us. Yeah. They want to kill us. I don't get it.
You're not allowed to lie. It's those traitors, Chinese bitches.
Right. Well, you can't even call them traitors because it's not like, they've ever worked with the Kindred, but they're like, it's like, yeah, don't trust those slant eye motherfuckers. And you're like, LaCroix, you can't say that.
Just because you're French.
LaCroix is a boomer.
Yeah, a 120-year-old boomer.
He just opens up his white monster blood. And just,
I prefer the sugar-free blood.
Right. It's better on my vampire teeth.
Oh, what a loser.
Right. Then, so you go fight Ming Zhao. And get the you get the sarcophagus.
You've had it. It's actually trying to open it. That's like half the game.
Right.
Because you get it.
Right.
Eventually from the
Mafia guys.
The Nosferatu guys have it, right?
No.
Oh, no, yeah. It's the Italian incest.
No, yeah, the incest guys.
Incest vampire people.
Yeah. No, that's the one quest line we never finished. Do you know?
Yeah, because, we did some of it.
Yeah.
We did what we could of it.
Yeah.
But you can, there's like 2 or 3 things that you can tell each member about the other members of the family.
Yeah. And then,
you fight the fucking brothers.
Yeah. The Ringling brothers.
Yeah, the fucking... What were they doing? Like, they're just like, yeah.
They're Kuei Jin guys who are sent in to help or something. Like, Ming Zhao sent them at the behest of LaCroix.
Yeah.
To do something. I don't remember. It's fucking dumb.
Yeah.
LaCroix's plan makes no fucking sense, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, he really doesn't have any idea what he's doing.
He tries to be a chess master, but the dude just sticks
Jack's
to
the chess master.
Yeah. Oh, Jack's playing chess. LaCroix's playing tic-tac-toe,
and Ming Zhao's playing Chinese checkers.
Bro, you can't say that.
She's Chinese.
Not wrong, but...
You deal with the Sabat in the hotel or whatever. That's fine. That's a fine enough quest. They kill.
It's a crack hotel.
Depending on what you do, they kill your ghoul, who have we not mentioned?
No,
she doesn't do a whole lot.
No,
but she's cool. You can make her ghoul at the beginning, and
and she walks around your apartment in her underwear, and you're like, this is okay.
Yeah, you can be nice to her. You can be a total fucking asshole. You're like, give me all your money. Don't ever talk to any of your family ever again.
Yeah, we never did that. We were just like, hey, dress like a goth.
Yeah, just like a goth, and bring me dudes to eat.
Right. And they hide in the bathroom. You're like, bro, she's crazy. What's up with her? You're like,
she's like, what does she mean eat? And you're like, I don't know.
I don't know, but
I don't eat. I drink.
Dracula don't suck. Dracula scrape and lick.
And then the last dungeon is basically climbing up the tower that you've been going up and down the whole time.
Right.
And poor Chunk.
Oh yeah, my boy Chunk dies. The Chunkmeister.
Chunkmeister, the best character.
Yeah.
Costume inspiration.
Yeah.
What a poor fella,
All he wanted to do was eat donuts and slam our Anarchia's pussy.
Never did nothing to nobody. Asked politely if we wanted to go on dates.
Yeah.
Looked at videos of donuts.
Yeah. He's kind of an asshole, though, if you're a Nosferatu.
Yeah, I mean, he's not that bad, though. He's a little bit, he's like, wow, you're fucking ugly, but...
He's like, wow, you're fucking ugly, get out of here before I have to call the cops and they come and shoot you and they show you on the news and you ruin people's dinner.
Which is not necessarily an overreaction.
Right. Fat Larry has, the best reaction to a Nosferatu, though. Because he's like, get your crackhead ass out of here.
Yeah, just in general, it's nice that, because there's the 5 clans that aren't Nosferatu in Malkavian, and they kind of have they pass as humans almost, and the Nosferatu don't pass as humans
because they're ugly as fuck.
So there's almost every character has slightly different dialogue.
Yeah,
and then there's the Malkavians where all of their dialogue is completely rewritten. So the Nosferatu and the Malkavians are both almost like extra playthroughs. Yeah,
second playthrough material.
Yeah,
I would say do Nosferatu second and Malkavian third, because that way you have two instances where you can like really, really pick up on the stuff that the Malkavian is saying.
Yeah,
because
a ton of the Malkavian stuff, is foreshadowing.
Yeah, it's all foreshadowing.
Yeah, except
for the time where he talks to a stop sign.
No, you stop.
Yeah. Okay, so the best part about the Malkavian is, right, not only he talks to stop signs, the television anchor will say everything that's happening in the game, and he goes, "It's you." You can also talk to the dude in the TV and ask him what it's like to be in the TV. Yeah, which is cool. Also, in the final ride with the cab driver at the end, you can ask, "Where are you taking us?"
Yeah.
Yeah. Which is, a really neat...
Yeah.
Because the fucking cab driver's Kane, okay? He's fucking Kane. And Jack has the best reaction to being a Malkavian. He's like, "Man, you're a Malkavian? You're really fucked."
Yeah, you got like double fucked.
Right.
You got like sired, your sire's murdered, now you're LaCroix's bitch, and you're a Malkavian? Like, fuck.
Right.
Jack's the best. I love Jack. He's my favorite.
Oh, yeah. Jack is the best character in this game, bar none, and then you can have your favorite.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
What's it, John DiMaggio, right?
Yeah.
Does
Jake the dog.
Yeah, great job.
Yeah.
He's always great, but...
Well,
he doesn't even change his voice that much, but somehow he sells every character.
Yeah. Jack sounds a lot like Bender.
He does.
Yeah. He does. He really hardcore does the Bender voice for Jack.
Yeah, and they're similar. Like they're both like aggressively they're wisecracking and they're aggressive and
yeah. I just wish there was more times you could just hang out with Jack and just do shit.
So he's surprisingly doesn't have a ton of dialogue. He doesn't really give you any quests or anything later on, really, that I remember.
Well, I think that's why I think that's why he's so interesting, though.
Oh yeah, you don't really find out too much.
You don't do anything with him but he's definitely part of the best ending.
Well, and he's in all. I mean, this is the ending. Jack set the whole fucking sarcophagus thing up.
Yeah.
To begin with. Now, I'm curious, how much of it did he plan outright? Like, did he always plan, I definitely think LaCroix's going to end up with it?
Well, I think he definitely knew LaCroix was going to end up with a sarcophagus anyway, because even if...
I mean, the only other person with the chance was Ming Zhao.
Right. Because... he knew that LaCroix would stop at nothing to get it because he knows how LaCroix is. Jack is just really good at, reading people.
Yeah.
And Jack is like, this is how LaCroix is, this is how he'll act, this is how he'll react to stuff. So, I'm gonna imply that there's an antediluvian on this ship, kind of fuck it up. He's gonna want it, and I'm gonna put, 16 metric tons of fucking dynamite up in the sarcophagus. It's going to be funny as fuck when I watch this building explode.
Yeah, and I love that if you side with LaCroix,
you're there too?
Yeah, you also get fucked.
Yeah.
Or if you open it, which people have been telling you, don't open it.
Yeah.
It becomes very explicit at the end. They're like, do not open it.
Right.
Don't open it. But.
And then in the Quaijin ending, you get strapped to it and dumped in the ocean.
Yep.
The best ending is the independent ending, because, okay, so does it happen in the Anarch ending where Jack is sitting in the lawn chair with Mezararch, the dude who's originally in the incarnate sarcophagus? Okay, and
that's in you see that in most of the you see it in I think almost every ending, but mainly the main ones are the Camarilla, not LaCroix ending. The Anarch ending and the independent ending.
Okay. the best ending is the independent one, because you watch fucking LaCroix explode, Jack gets to quip about it, and then you walk and all the anarchs are like, hey man, good job, and you're like, fuck you. Which is like, and they're all surprised. It's like, is that not the most anarch thing to do, though?
Yeah, I'm about to walk out of here.
Like badass.
About to walk the California streets.
Right.
On my own.
Right.
Fuck y'all.
Yeah. I'm about to set up my own barony.
Yeah.
With blackjack and hookers.
That's my favorite ending, too. It just felt like... I like the Camarilla ending and the Anarch ending about the same. I think they're both pretty good.
Well, because the thing I like the most about the independent ending is you kind of decide, like, yo, these anarchs are fucking assholes too, because what they do the whole game? Fucking send me out to do their fucking errands because they're too fucking lazy to do it themselves. And you go just decide they're about as bad as a fucking Camarilla. Like, fuck this shit.
They're on the way, yeah, like, exactly.
So I'm just gonna do my own thing. Go hang out with the fucking cab driver, because I'm pretty sure he's fucking Kane. So, see ya.
We're gonna be the Canites.
They're all Canites anyway, but that's another way for the Kindred. Another word for the Kindred is Canites.
But basically, the point of this game is the Virgin LaCroix, the Chad Jack.
Yeah, of course.
Closing thoughts. I really like this game. I play it like every 2 years or so.
Of course, it's like the perfect game to play at Halloween.
It's always fresh.
Yeah,
and there's so many mods and stuff that you can get now that change stuff and make it interesting and add new quests and all kinds of stuff in cool ways that you can really, get a lot of mileage out of it.
I think that is honestly one of the coolest things about some of these older games that didn't necessarily come out in the best way, that kind of became cult classics, is like they kind of developed this modding community that will make the game good.
Yeah.
And that's kind of the problem with Bethesda games, but with other shit where they tried their best to make a good game and just couldn't quite get there, and then modders can do it, like, can patch the holes on the leaky ship. Meanwhile, Bethesda will try to turn a colander into a boat. And
they're like, modders will turn this into a bowl, trust us.
Right. They'll use the Flex Seal.
Yeah.
Right.
I can agree with that.
Yeah.
So it's great. Go fucking play it all the time. It's cheap on sale. There's a new one coming out.
Yeah.
A couple months after this video comes up, so... March, I believe.
2020.
And I'm very excited. I'm excited, but I'm not getting my hopes up too much just because there's enough separation between, I know a lot of the people are coming back. The guy who did the OST is coming back, some of the writers. But there's enough separation between it where I'm just trying to go into it open-minded. But I am excited because I'm definitely going to play it. Right. And I hope that if it's half as good or 3/4 as good to me as this game is, then it'll be one of my favorite RPGs.
There's also another game coming out, too.
Yeah, there's...
that one that takes place in, like, New York.
I don't know too much about that one, but I'm interested
Neither
in it as
well.
It's not like the Vampire the Masquerade games, because there was Vampire the Masquerade Redemption. There's been other World of Darkness games as well. There was like Hunter the Reckoning, which was like a co-op, like top down, like beat 'em up type of game for the PS2 and Xbox. I think there was a Mage game at some point. So there's and I'm excited. I think it's cool that now that the World of Darkness license, I think, is Paradox Interactive has it. That's how they're able to publish this new Vampire game. I hope there's more. I hope we get an RPG that's a mage or a werewolf. That's what I'm interested.
I want one where you can be any of them. Where
that's pretty ambitious.
Right. It is ambitious.
It'd have to be like come off of the back of a couple successes, but yeah, that would be fucking cool.
Well, I think depending on what your playstyle is, that would change what race you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or have it be like Shadows of Mystara, the D&D game.
Yeah.
Where it's like a co-op kind of arcade RPG where you could be a vampire and a werewolf and a mage and a ghost, and it'd be like you just have those 4 and they all have their own different strengths, and that way when you know, there needs to be more like good couch co-op games like that.
And just more World of Darkness games in general. It's ripe. Yeah. It's ripe for more good games. So hopefully coming off the back of these new ones, there's some good shit coming out.
Honestly, I just don't understand why there's not more really good like RPGs being made out of these pen and paper games, because they have like all the backstory there that's easy to be introduced and added, and it's not like they have to come up with their own class structure. Everything is there except for the game.
I feel like the hardcore leaning Western RPGs and even the computer RPGs that were, you know, the 90s type of, like the Fallouts and the Baldur's Gates and stuff, those are all making a comeback, so it's a good time. Right. It's a good time, and I'm hoping it stays that way. Because, you know, you've got Pillars of Eternity, Divinity, Original Sin, Tyranny. This is coming out. Say what you will about The Witcher, and they're not like the Witcher, especially like part kind of 2 and parts of 3 don't hold super true to necessarily like it's obviously not like a first person game like this, and it's not like a top down RPG, but it still has that core, and it still has the depth of story and gameplay and stuff that you would want out of this type of game. So I feel like there's more of a market now for this type of game, so I think it's a perfect time for there to be a sequel, and I'm hoping that it's good, but fingers crossed, but I'm prepared to be disappointed if I'm disappointed. So we can pray, and we'll talk about it, I'm sure, when it comes out. So all right.
So, well, what would you say is your favorite moment?
My favorite moment. So you said yours was the haunted getting house. The posters and the haunted.
Yeah, the haunted house.
I was at the haunted mansion. Not quite.
With Eddie Murphy?
Unless you want to call out. Yes. Unless you want to call Alistair Grout's.
It's not really haunted. It's just full of hunters.
It's haunted by his wife's spirit, bro.
It's not.
And by his spirit, bro.
No, he's not even dead.
So where do you think he's at?
Well, because a lot of the time, when like a really old vampire dies, they completely disintegrate, right? And he left behind bones. So I don't think that was an actual like. I think that was like a younger vampire or something that was just there, and that's who got murdered. I think he was just hiding out in the walls and shit.
Like, hopefully nobody fucking finds out I'm in here.
Right.
That shit would suck.
Well, because if you look up stuff about Alistair Grout, he's one of these dudes that's like, I'm going to find a cure. And you're like, no, you're not. He's like, yeah, I am. And he's like, he kind of just hates all the other vampires because he's like, y'all are dorks and weirdos, and this shit's dumb. Being a vampire is dumb. So he's just like, I'm going to find a cure for this because this is dumb. And so he's like, somebody came to murder me. So why don't I just, I don't know, pretend to be dead so I don't have to... Because they basically like forced him into being a primogen too. So he's just like, fuck this. I'm dead. Because this is dumb.
That it is. I guess if I have to choose a standout favorite moment, it's probably the hotel. But I'll be gracious. I'll pick a favorite character too, just to talk about something for a couple of minutes that we haven't talked about too much. I really like Samuel Beckett.
Oh,
and he's a prime character. I really hope is in the new game too. I think he's perfect because he just travels around,
right? And
he's sort of an outsider to the politics and stuff. Sort of like if you play the independent way, you can make your character sort of an outsider to it all as well. But Samuel Beckett's like an observer, you know.
Yeah.
And he's always got like a witty line or something to say, but he's present the whole game, and he's always giving you little hints about what's going on, and he's got a good sense of humor. And there's funny dialogues with him, like, where do you think vampires come from? And you're like, oh, we're mutants, like comic books. Or, you know, it's a curse and all this other stuff. He's like, and no matter what you say, he's like, that could be true, but here's why it's not.
Right.
That's not exactly right. And no matter what you say. And he's just a fun, interesting character. Plus, he finds out what's in the sarcophagus. because he's examining it, and then he tells you when you're on your way. He's like, "I'm getting out of town. Don't open that shit." That's all.
Yeah.
It's been nice knowing you. See ya. So yeah, I think he's a prime candidate for being in a new game.
Well, of course.
And he's probably he might be my favorite character that's not Jack. He's up there anyway. So
I would say the Anarchs in the bar are my favorite.
Yeah, I like all of them too.
Especially Damsel, not just because I'm like kind of hot redhead, but like she's like I'm like she goes, I'm the den mother of these motherfuckers.
Yeah, I wish there was a little bit more with Damsel. Her. Like she was a little bit more active, but yeah, she's pretty good. She's probably my favorite one of them too. So good shit. Fucking good game.
Yeah. Buy it.
Buy it twice. You sell it. Illegally pirate it.
Don't do that.
I'm waiting for the World of Darkness Pirates game, bro. Speaking of pirates, Jack might have been a pirate, bro.
He's most definitely was a pirate.
Where's the pirate Jack game? Jack versus Jack Sparrow. That's what I want to say.
Yeah. I think Jack would win. He's slightly smarter.
He also has vampire strength.
Yeah, but which movie Jack Sparrow are we talking about?
Like,
are we talking Curse of the Black Pearl Jack Sparrow? Because in that one he's a Skeleman.
We'll be Skeleman Jack Sparrow.
Okay. They're both pretty much immortal, except for the fact that if Jack goes in sunlight. So I think Jack Sparrow might be able to win that one.
Death battle win.
Yeah.
Death battle win.
Right.
Next time.
Remember, wherever we go, it is the blood of Cain which makes our fate.